Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Footy Express Show. And I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and also like all our network platforms. So we're going to welcome Sabastian, which is a United supporter, and also welcome back Shaun, which is a Liverpool supporter, and welcome back Chace for the first time on a Monday. A supporter, and welcome Sean Ferrier. He's a Newcastle supporter. Welcome, Shaun.
Good evening, guys. Thank you for having me.
So tonight we discuss. Yes, you can hear me clearly, Shaun.
Yeah.
Ferrier.
Loud and clear. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So tonight we're gonna do the recap, loud and clear. We're gonna do the recap of the game for the weekend. There were some upsets, there were some surprises as well. Especially the Arsenal game was quite a surprise. You can see I've got my Arsenal team on tonight, and I'm a suspension. It's not about Arsenal winning. So all the viewers is watching tonight, please will answer the questions. Don't be shy. And a United supporter on tonight, and there's a Liverpool supporter on for the first time. So I'm sure there's gonna be a heated tonight. Okay, so we're gonna start off. Okay, with Wissam. Okay, Chace.
Nigel.
Just tell the viewers, how did you start supporting Wissam?
All right. So one day I was going to school, and this huge lorry stopped and abducted me. And they were playing Unforgettable Bubbles in the van. And 2 weeks later, they dropped me off, and I found myself being a West Ham fan. So it was a miraculous experience. I had no idea why they chose me, but I'm delighted, and I'm glad that they chose me to be a West Ham fan. And it's been that way ever since. So, Alan, you very great.
Yeah, no, you guys have a supporters club in Cape Town. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes. Well, lockdown put a damper on things. But usually we'd meet every match day at the Royal in Joburg. And on a good weekend, there's about 15 of us just watching the Hammers together. And guys from all different walks of life. It's pretty cool, and it makes it memorable. We don't always win, but it makes it memorable, and it's an enjoyable occasion to see other fellow Hammers. And because there was a stage I thought I was alone. I thought I was the only West Ham fan in the village. But then I met the Cape Town Hammers, and we're one big happy family now.
Okay, so Sebastian, how did you start supporting Manchester United?
I started in 1986.
Biggest club in England.
Nigel, I see now you're interrupting me here because I want to make sure that the Liverpool can hear this.
Okay.
So I started in 1986. I supported Man United. In fact, I was influenced by my father. He was a Man United supporter, and at that time when I supported Man United, it was very bad still, and I always thought, what a bad club. Until Fergie started getting his act together in 1989. I know we won Liverpool 3-1, and I think there was an FA Cup, and I actually saw that game. 1989 in November, and so since then I've been supporting Man United, and I've always been a great supporter of the club, and my dream is really to go one day to United and go watch a game. In fact, I saw them playing in Cape Town, and so that's that.
Mr. Ferrier, Newcastle.
Yes, brother.
I know you now for 2 years, and I never knew that you were supporting Newcastle. You look like more like a Liverpool guy, you know. I never knew that you supported Newcastle. Can you believe it, guys? Yeah, no. It's only in the last week that I found that Mr. Ferrier is a Newcastle supporter. So how did you start supporting Newcastle?
You see, I think the love for the game and the passion for football was always there, obviously It's in my blood. It's in my veins. But it's not to try and follow the normal. It's unfortunately in Cape Town there are only two other types of supporters. That's a United supporter and a Liverpool supporter. So I didn't want to always follow the normal traits. Football was obviously the main passion, and I started taking a liking to Alan Shearer when he was still at Blackburn. And that stuck with me. I've been supporting the club since Alan Shearer joined. Obviously his Boyo team. It was just a nice story. If you rather follow the footballer on its own, I think it gives you a bit more pleasure. Unfortunately, the players don't always stay there at those clubs. They also come to the end of their careers. But yeah, just seeing what Alan Shearer was doing for Newcastle, really it stuck with me. And to see, like I said, a boyhood hero come back to his club, still score goals, become probably the greatest striker that the Premier League has ever seen. That stuck with me. So regardless of the results, that was something that really just got me to stay with the club.
Yeah, no, I mean, everyone has memories of Newcastle. I mean, they like Alan Shearer was one of still the best striker in the EPL history. But we will get there. Just hold on for me. I'm just having a issue here.
While Nigel has his technical breakdown, like what Shaun said about Alan Shearer and how he gravitated towards Alan Shearer. So I want to hear from the other guys, Seb and Shaun. Who are your first idols or who are your first fans of at your club? Who are your boyhood heroes? Which got you to start with?
Seb, you can go.
Okay, guys, I couldn't hear the question very nicely.
Everyone can hear me clearly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Shaun, Mr. Ferrier, you guys can hear me clearly. Okay, so I want to discuss the log. Okay, before we're gonna go to everyone's team. Okay, I want to discuss the log now. I'm gonna bring this up quickly. Now, at the moment, Man City is obviously first on the log. Okay, they are running away with the league. They are 12 points clear from Man United. Obviously, we have Leicester City, Arsenal 3-1, and we got West Ham. Chace, that's still in the fourth position. I mean, that's very good for West Ham. We got Chelsea in the fourth place. We got Everton in seventh. We got 8th, we got Spurs, and we got Arsenal at 10th place. So I don't think like Arsenal is moving up there. We got Newcastle at 17th.
They are exactly where they deserve to be, so we won't touch on that too much. They deserve to be there. So let's look at the other part of the logs, please.
So basically, look, we all know that Man City is not gonna give up on the league. I mean, if you check the history of winning the league, in the last 2 months, they keep on flying. They're not. I'm sorry, Man United. I'm sorry to think there's many Man United fans out there that think that they can stop the league.
But Nigel, the thing is this: what is the problem with United is that we don't have the winning formula that we had or used to have with Fergie, and so we are still struggling with that whole idea of trying to be that big club. And I hate Liverpool with a passion. I mean, Shaun, forgive me for that. But the thing with Liverpool, what Klopp did, Klopp started building that team from nothing. Now, and they played bad. And when Klopp came there, they played bad. But Klopp knew what was the purpose for what he did. What United is now, United is trying just to keep now in the top 4 and try to get the UCL. And I think we need to understand that if we hold our club again to what we had with Fergie, we need to start building similar ways that Fergie started building from 1986 upwards. And I know that we're not going to end up winning the league for a while, but yeah, and I'm the number one supporter of Man United. So we're struggling. And you know the thing with you're saying that Newcastle is laying 17. Newcastle is the team that we all have to be afraid of because they've got nothing to lose, but yet they know how to kill big clubs, and so that is the thing with Newcastle. And so Newcastle will probably end about 13, 14 on the log.
Now let's go to Newcastle. Let's go to Newcastle soon. You guys drew with Wolves 1-1. In your history, you had, like I said, I mentioned you had the best striker in the EPL history. I'm probably the best striker in the world at the Seven. Can you tell me more memories about that, though? Will you ever get that player, kind of big name player at Newcastle? I'm gonna speak about your owner soon, but before that, though, I want to hear that from you. Do you think Newcastle United can attract big players at the club?
Nigel, I think if we go back to the beginning of the season, there was a lot of talk about obviously the potential takeover, which was supposed to pump millions into Newcastle. It's going to come down to money. Unfortunately, that deal didn't go through, but I'm positive and I'm confident that if that deal had to go through, there would have been 4 of us sitting in this very show right now wearing black and white jerseys, because that's the beauty of what money can do in this football game. And if you don't have that funding around you, you're not going to be able to attract the big names. So as much as it's a tight community-based club, I mean, fantastic supporters, without the funding and with the chairman that doesn't really have an ambition of trying to take his club forward, that's always going to be a challenge. But let's not forget, I mean, there was players like Patrick Kluivert, there was David Ginola, there was Keith Gillespie, there was some great players already within the structures of Newcastle. So, but that was when Kevin Keegan was obviously at his best and at the helm, and there was money flowing into the club. Don't forget, Newcastle also played in the Champions League prior to that. So that all comes with money. If there's unfortunately no investment, you're not going to be able to attract those big players.
Yeah, no, true. I mean, speaking about your owner, Mike Ashley. For me, he's probably the worst football owner, that football club owner that's out there. I mean, Newcastle was one of the best clubs in the EPL, and it's always a problem with investment. So, what's going to happen though? This guy don't want to sell. There was a rumor out though that there's a company that's supposed to buy you guys for $5 million. I'm not sure if that is true though. It was about before the whole COVID. Takeover. Newcastle's gonna be the team to beat. Gonna be the new Man City. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, that wasn't unfortunately anything got to do with the chairman. I think we have to respect the fact that Ashley was very open to the transaction going through. It was unfortunately the director's test that was failed by the would-be new owners. So it was actually the Premier League themselves that unfortunately blocked that sale. But Ashley was open to the sale. I mean, they've negotiated, they've put pen to paper where necessary and where they could. But fortunately enough, I think the Premier League also, they saw an opportunity to try and regulate also the industry, because, when Man City came into the league, I mean, they blew everybody out of the water with the amount of money that was been spending. Chelsea did the same at one stage. It's only, I think, Liverpool, maybe just with the Van Dijk signing, where they really actually spent some money. But they needed to obviously look at the protection of the league, because it throws everything out of the water. So I think that's where the league said, no, unfortunately, this deal can't go through. And Ashley was unfortunately then tasked to run the club again as what he saw fit. But at the end of the day, I mean, we might think he's a terrible chairman, but I can guarantee you that his bank balance is growing with every month. So he's doing it for the business. He's not doing it for anything with regard to football. It's all about business for Ashley.
I think I can agree with Shaun there, because growing up, you always associate St. James's Park with Newcastle United. And a few seasons ago, they changed the stadium name to Sports Direct at St. James. That was, here we go. That's pretty much blasphemy when it comes to your football club. You can't mess with these like that, and that was heartbreaking. Just on my side, I see that. That was very disappointing.
Yeah.
But the thing is that's actually all the clubs, and most of the clubs are basically not playing football because of football anymore. it's all about money and stuff like that, and you're losing the game itself. And even with I'm a total against the VAR system that is actually, like, I mean, even yesterday our games also, we lost against, we draw against us because of what VAR is doing, and that's the problem. So the sport is becoming a bit too technical. It's not, those fun games that we used to watch, and the way it was for I mean, look at Manchester City. Manchester City is playing well, but they're playing well because they've got a wealthy boss that basically can pump in money the way they can pump in money. And so there is not the equality of players that you can bring in. I mean, if you're looking what you're saying now with Newcastle, even with West Ham, I mean, West Ham is literally playing well, but West Ham won't be able to make it in. And sorry to say that, because of what they don't have, that the back of getting better players all the time. And so that's the problem we're having now. So money is here. At the end of the day,
So viewers, I apologize about the quality of the audio tonight, but please bear with us. So, Mr. Ferrier, Newcastle dominated the game in shots. I think they got about 19 shots, about 6 on target. But if I look at the Newcastle squad, I think you guys have a brilliant squad. I think Almiron's one of your best players, and I think he's injured now at the moment. I mean, that's going to be a big loss going forward.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if you watched the Newcastle Wolves game, because I was probably the only one watching that game. But if you go back to that game, you will actually see that, I mean, the team did very well. In the first 30 minutes, they were already having about 75% of the possession, and that's where St. Maximum and Almiron was obviously very influential. But towards the latter part of the second half, both were forced strangers in terms of injuries, and I think that probably killed the team's momentum. And I must say, I mean, I was very impressed the way they played against the Wolves side, which is obviously no slouch as well. They've also got a very decent squad. Probably Portugal B is playing for Wolves at this point in time. But yeah, to get a 1-1 result, I mean, it speaks wonders for the club and the commitment of the Newcastle players. But yeah, those two, Almiron and St. Maximum, I think that is the two that they can possibly help and try and get the club out of the troubled water.
Okay, Wolves basically got a better possession, about 53%. But as we know, Wolves likes to play same ball like a Man City or Arsenal, or not a United though, but Liverpool. But they like to play the same style as Arsenal and Man City. They like to keep ball. They're very patient on the ball. Where I think Newcastle is not the same style though. They like playing long balls. So, Mr. Ferrier, where do you think Newcastle can improve though? Look, the owner is not gonna spend the money. Do you think that the manager currently, I mean, he's a Man United legend, as we all know it. He was a very, very good player for United. But as a manager, do you think he's the right man to basically bring Newcastle forward? I personally think he's not. I think the whole world knows he's not. But when is Mike Ashley gonna bring in that guy or that manager? Oh, we got Rafa. Sorry, I do apologize. We have Rafa Benitez. It was there. He done well, but then he didn't do well at all afterwards. What's it gonna take for Newcastle to make in the top 6?
Number one, a hell of a lot of more money. Number one, I think that is where it's going to start. And also, I think number two is to have a coach that's going to be bold and brave enough to work actually. I think, with all due respect to Steve Bruce, he can only work with what he has at his disposal. And by no means is that a team and a squad that can push right now for the top 6. I think at this point in the Premier League, and then to build on that. But personally, I don't think Steve Bruce is the right man for the job. You know, you look at him over the years. He was a fantastic defender, and you can see that in his game plan as well. I mean, when you're playing teams at Newcastle, I mean, you can't line up with 5 defenders at the home game. So that already shows the intentions of the manager, and that's not what you need right now, because you need to get points. Yes, they did sign Callum Wilson, but obviously with that injury as well, that has affected the goal scoring. But every team is going through that. You know, Van Dijk is out of Liverpool. We've got also Aguero out of City. You know, so there are influential players in the team. So that's a time when the rest has to stand up, and it's up to the manager to try and promote that and to get those players to respond. I don't think he has that in him, to be honest. I mean, 2 wins in your last 10 games it's not good enough. There needs to be a decision made. But also at this point of the season, I mean, you can't just come in and bring somebody new now when you're busy wanting to fight for relegation or stay out of that boat. So we'll just have to hold fingers crossed and see what happens coming up in the next 5 games.
Okay, cool.
Nigel?
So you got
Nigel,
yes.
Nigel, can I say something? I think the biggest Newcastle's biggest mistake is getting rid of Rafa. Although it wasn't so good at the end, but I think there was obviously disagreement with him and the board. The board didn't support Rafa. If the board supported Rafa, I think that Newcastle would have been a team to watch out for. And he's Sean Ferrier. Sean is totally right in saying Steve Bruce was a good United player, but he's not a coach that's going to win you leagues. Man.
In fact,
It's the
he's
same
not the
like
coach.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Very similar to OGS. All due respect. United. No.
You guys are
Stevie,
dropping
listen.
now here.
No, Stevie, listen. I'm not going to be biased, nothing. OGS is not doing anything for United. He's the wrong coach. You getting rid of Mourinho was your biggest mistake. And I was happy because I knew because taking 3 cups in the first season, in the second season with the team he had, he came second. And if United had to support Mourinho, guaranteed they would have had a cup, a League Cup. Promise you they would have a Premiership. Because Mourinho is that good. If they support Mourinho, I promise you, Mourinho is somebody that can win leagues, cups, and he can win. That is just Mourinho. That is just
No, the thing is I understand everything of that, and it's important to understand that the game actually changed a lot now, because you can see all the clubs are trying now to bring in their ex-players into the coaching side to basically start working that. The thing with Ole, it's not similar to what's happening with Newcastle, is that there's no support, there's no pushing. And yes, Ole was put in a position that is the position is too big for him. But we can do with him, and I mean, on a weekend, Ole chooses the best players. Come in the midweek, that's like that man. It's like you don't know who to choose, and that is the bad part of it. But for us, our defense are still the worst. I don't know what Ole is seeing in Maguire. What is he seeing in what's that other guy's doing? I don't. And
Lindelof.
even Lindelof is a nightmare in our defense. Our mids are starting to play better, because the thing is everyone is saying Pogba is playing okay and stuff like that. But Pogba, just like Rashford, is a selfish player, and that's why our midfield suffered under with Pogba. Now our strikers are also suffering because of Rashford, and Rashford is a selfish player. That's why we're struggling. And if you look at the way we played, and one of the things that I like about the Liverpool's forwards is Mane, Salah, and Firmino. They work with something in front. Your backlines, there's no backline. I mean, seriously, you guys are playing with freaking well. You're playing with a mid and a forward, and that's it. There's no backline. But when those guys move forward, they move forward with Mane, it's Salah, and it's Firmino, and then they come in with Jones. And so that is what I like about the way Klopp is now developing his key players. But with Ole, man, we have the forwards, we can play forward, but hey, man, our defense, a lot. I don't know.
I must say, there's one player basically, and a lot of people would disagree with me. I think Bruno Fernandes is the best thing that happened to United. because he's a leader. Bruno Fernandes is a leader. Even if he doesn't show up on big games, his presence just being on that field. He's the one that speaks to players on the field. He's a true leader. And these two players United must get rid of. The one is a virus. He's better known as Pogba. Let's get rid of him. He's not. Get rid of Pogba. I promise you. And then get rid of Martial. Those are two players you guys must get rid of. And then maybe
So we're gonna come to Chace. We're gonna come to Chace. Man City versus West Ham. Chace.
Yes.
Obviously, everyone knew that was a tough game.
All right.
Playing against that is, yeah.
Yes. Okay, I'll take it from here, Nigel, brother. All right. Cool. So heading into the game, you want to bring it up for us? It's loading there.
Here we go.
Cool. I'll walk us through this one. All right. So heading in.
You got a lot to say.
I'm listening to all these other fans talk. I've been biting my tongue so painfully now. Getting into the game, I wasn't expecting anything. Man City, they're going to be champions. They're playing amazing football. So during the course of last week, I was preparing myself for a loss, and I made peace with it. I was chill. I was ready for a loss. But then the game started, and as a fan, you cannot watch your team and be satisfied with just a loss, because although I made peace with the fact that we're going to lose, when the game started, I thought we can actually do this. We actually have a chance. And then as the game progressed, West Ham were playing pretty well, and I believe City scored first, and then we equalized. And when Antonio equalized, I thought, I'd take a draw. Referee can blow your whistle right now. I think we're up for this. And I must say, West Ham put in a very good fight. I believe City's 2 goals came from 2 centre-backs. It was Diaz and Stones. And when you think about City, you think of goal scoring. Mahrez, you think of De Bruyne, you think of Jaden, Gundogan. But none of their orthodox scorers actually scored just from their centre-backs. So what does that tell me? Always has West Ham playing structure, of organisation, and we all know our role. There's so many times watching West Ham is like watching a bunch of strangers who don't know each other. The passes, you don't know who they're going to. They just kick the ball, they clear the ball. I've witnessed a lot of heartbreak and a lot of shocking football supporting West Ham. But Moyes, he has us playing beautifully. And as I said, I was expecting a loss. But after watching that game, West Ham, they blew me away. I'm loving everything I'm seeing with the Hammers right now. Sushik in the middle next to Declan Rice. You can't tell me any of you guys would say no if they were offered to your club, both of them, in the center, just above your back 4 or back 3 as 2 central defensive midfielders. Sushik and Declan Rice. Wow. Amazing. And then I must say, Lingard, again, I spoke with Nigel last week. I wasn't keen when West Ham landed Lingard. I mentioned I didn't like the stuff he does and all that silliness. But you know what? He's playing for the shirt. He's putting all the drama aside. And I think Lingard's looking at this opportunity at West Ham as a chance to better himself. And West Ham are clearly benefiting because he's pulled up his socks. He's starting to perform. And I believe that Lingard has also matured. And West Ham are seeing the benefit of that. And that's really, really, it's about time West Ham got a break, because I'm so used to us at the bottom end of the league. So it's nice to see us in the top echelon fighting. I don't think we'll get Europe, but it's nice to see us there.
To be honest with you, deserve to be there. West Ham deserves to be there. They really played very good soccer. Even against
you're right, Shaun.
Even against Manchester United was given a when Pogba scored that goal.
Oh my goodness. But just to touch on what you guys said earlier, just to touch on what you lads said earlier with Man United, I don't think what's his name? Fernandes, he didn't start against West Ham. And I think West Ham were 1-0 up in that game. And then Fernandes came on, and then they started playing, and then we lost 3-1 or something. So Fernandes, I think, he's the backbone and the spine of Manchester United. And what a player.
You know, the thing is, and I wish I could actually write to Ole to say to him, please make Bruno the captain, the club captain. Even with Hernandez in the polls as the goalkeeper, both him and Fernandes, they talk to their players, they coach their players, they tell them what to do. And I mean, Henderson the other day on Thursday, he was screaming at the back line and saying, "Listen here, don't do that," and whatever. And it was so nice. And to see Bruno just taking the lead and making those teams work. I mean, damn, I don't know what Ollie's got on that Maguire and why he's playing that. Oh, I know just showing Nigel.
Can I answer you on that? Don't you think that, this is just my opinion, don't you think that Martel, Pogba, Maguire, the investors bought them? So you need to play them. Because in most cases, when I see Pogba, Maguire, or even Martel in a team, I'm like, why is he selecting Martel? Why? It's almost like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer I'm just asking, is he forced to play these players? Because you must remember that they fired Jose Mourinho because of Martel and because of Pogba. They fired him because of the two of them. Remember that. I always say, I feared, imagine they got those players that Mourinho wanted. And when they fired Mourinho, that was the best news. I'm not lying. I said, United is doing what Liverpool did for 30 years. Liverpool did that. Got rid of managers, got a poor manager in, kept that poor manager for a very long time, get a good manager, don't keep the good manager, get rid of like that, man. And United is...
Shaun, I like what you said about that with the owners making the purchases and almost, would you say, forcing the manager to play him. If I look at West Ham, obviously I'm going to reflect on West Ham, but I can actually see something there. Under Pellegrini, West Ham broke the bank twice. They bought Sebastian Haller, and before that they got Felipe Anderson. And I think, again, they were both record signings at the time for West Ham, but they just never performed. They couldn't adjust to the Premier League. And what I love about David Moyes, he sent Anderson on loan to Porto, and we sold Haller to Ajax Amsterdam. And since those two players have gone, West Ham have been refreshed, revitalized, and there's no superstars anymore at the club. Everyone's playing for each other. And it's not about the price tag. It's not about the big names. It's about the hunger. And if you look back at Sheffield United last season, where they came up and they were doing phenomenal. Yes, they've fallen off the wayside and bottom of the table, but they had no stars in their team, and they were pretty much mid-table to upper table the entire season. Same with Wolves a couple of years back. No stars, but a bunch of lads playing for the cause. And to me, that's what it's about. And no, I don't want to see any big names at West Ham. I just want hungry lads who care for the shirt.
Yeah,
but and I think that's the most important thing. Yeah. So and even with what we did with Lukaku them and all those guys. I mean, even with what's it with that young lad's name? I think he's at West Ham now. What is his name? That is just now he's playing at West Ham. Lingard.
Yes.
He was one of our players.
Yes, Jesse Lingard. Yes, he's on loan from
Jesse Lingard.
You remember why? Sebastian, you didn't want him.
No, but you see that.
But he's still on loan, eh?
He's on loan, but even Lukaku. I mean, look at what Lukaku is doing now, and he's playing so well. Lingard is scoring goals now, and the problem with and I know that we have to fire our chairperson because that guy is a nutcracker. He's the one that actually brings our club to. I want to sound political, but he's bringing our club into disrepute
because of the way.
and that's the problem that we have with our club, and because and you're right, Shaun. The problem is they have to play these players because what is happening currently. They bought they bought him for 2 million, I think, and they bought Maguire for a huge sum of money. Marcel they brought in for a huge sum of money, and so that is a problem that we have. So I mean, yes, like it, man. And Lingard is doing so well. And in fact, Lingard is actually one of my players that I love, and he's doing so well. And he's not going to want to come back to United because United is not the United that used to bring these youngsters up and make them famous. United is now about United is flying around. I mean, it's a club that I love. And but Shaun, you also do know that that they're going to bring in Gerrard soon, and then he'll be back to normal.
So, guys, before I come to Shaun, Mr. Ferrier, before I come to Mr. Ferrier, okay, I want to speak about your captain, Noble. He's been at the club for 14 years. I think,
Yes.
I think he's probably one of the longest serving players.
You know, in today's climate of football, you don't see one club men anymore. I think we had our Stevie G's, we had our Ryan Giggs,
Gerrard's,
we had our
Giggs.
Gerrards, we had our Tony Adamses for you, Nigel. But you don't see one player, you don't see one club men anymore. There's a nice picture of him too. I think he's in the twilight of his career now. He's passing the flame on to Declan Rice, and I think it's fair he should. He's been a wonderful servant for the club. He grew up in the East End of London, so he's a West Ham boy through and through. A wonderful servant for the club, and it's sad to see him go. But he's not as he was never quick, but he's even slower now. So it's sad to see. It's sad to see when your years disappoint. But I can't. I don't have a bad word to say for the guy. Yes, age is catching up to him now, but I will miss him. And he's just a feisty. He cares for the club, and you can see it matters to him. And that's all I want to see at the end of the day. I mean, supporting West Ham, you don't expect to win trophies, but you just want to see the guys again play for the jersey. And Mark Noble is the epitome of that. I remember a few years back, I think it was against Man United, and I think Anders Herrera was chilling was taking his time or something, putting up his socks, or he was sitting on the sideline, and Mark Noble stood behind him and he literally picked him up and he put him on and he carried him off the pitch. It was just, you don't see that anymore. He's just a character and a card, and I love to see that in Mark Noble. So I'll miss him, but hopefully he'll stay around with the academy and just let the players, let his expertise and his experience rub off on the younger lads, because that brain is it's vital, just to let the new players, especially the foreign players who probably don't understand what West Ham is all about, doesn't understand the rivalries in London, to have someone like Mark Noble at the club explaining to the younger guys, that is invaluable.
Yeah, now look, the Cheslin Artisan says Mark Noble out the team makes a huge difference. Do you agree to that?
Right now, Noble won't make the first 11. I think as a centre mid, I think our centre mids are Declan Rice and Thomas Soucek. You can't argue anyone else ahead of them. They've been incredible. I do think Noble's best years are behind him. So I think coming on as a substitute or just having his presence in the dressing room and around the club is his best. For a 33-year-old bloke, I think that's Noble's role now. But ability-wise, Noble and Rice and Soucek are streets ahead of him, unfortunately, right now.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Shaun. Shaun wants to basically say something about General. I think he wanted to comment on on Newcastle. Is that correct, Shaun? Mr. Ferrier?
No, I think it's more just on a general chat. And it's especially when you're a Newcastle supporter and you witness hidings every single week from different clubs coming to you and taking all the points from you. You also get a nice insight into those clubs, that you're playing against. And I think and not to criticize anybody, but just in terms of the opinion with some of the Man United supporters, I don't think we must forget the fact that both Harry Maguire, Anthony Martial, as well as Pogba are fully fledged international footballers, and they play very well for their country, number one. So I don't think that the panel must be too hard on them. I think it's more probably a lack of experience from a manager that can't manage those personalities, because they are big personalities. They can do the job. They've proved it at international level, and that is where you got. I mean, if you watch Harry Maguire play for England, he's outstanding. I mean, he's rock solid in defense. So he doesn't unfortunately get that opportunity to bring it over into United's team, because possibly we don't know what the instruction is from Ole, and I think Ole is probably a bit still too new in that environment to be able to, like I say, manage those personalities. But hands down, I mean, those anybody's team, they will walk the team. So it's just I think it's more the inexperience of the manager in terms of trying to bring that forward. Just a general comment that I thought I'd like to add in there.
Okay, so we're gonna come to Sebastian and Shaun. The Man United and the Liverpool. So the first question is, which which team is bigger? Man United and
United, of
Liverpool.
course.
Let's go to Sean first. Let's go to
Okay,
Sean.
okay. Which team is bigger? It's obviously it's Liverpool. 6 times European champions. You know, I had a debate with my family because I'm the only Liverpool supporter, basically. You know what I'm saying? So I had this debate. I said, you can't dominate England for 20 years and only win 2 European Cups. It does not make sense for me. It just does not make sense for me. But I'm not going to disregard Ferguson's reign because I hated Ferguson because he was that good. And you know what I hate right now is that I know that OGS is not going to bring back United to their glory. I know that. But you get fans out there that I'm sorry to say, like now, these delusional fans that think they're still living in the 90s and the early 2000s, where they think United's going to win a league. United's not going to take any cup. No, not under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The minute United feel a bit of pressure, United could have been first, right? Just a bit of pressure, United falls. Just a bit of pressure. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, no disrespect to him. I loved him. The babyface assassin. Going to history of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he was actually he grew up as a Liverpool supporter. But I loved him playing for United. He knew what he could do in 15 minutes. Okay, Ferguson knew, like Sean Ferrier just said earlier. Ferguson, like when a manager knows how to get the best out of a player, but Ole Gunnar, I'm sorry, man. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not, it's like everybody's, it's like an elephant climbing on a tree. You know what I'm saying? And just be waiting for you guys to fall. That's the truth. I'm saying this with much respect. No disrespect to anybody. Genuine. But OGS.
Tell us how you
already
really
doesn't
feel,
respect
Sean.
us.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
But
I
listen
don't know.
here,
Sibi, you must
listen.
convince me.
Sean, I understand you guys have won 6 UCLs, and you know the thing is this: you've only seen 2 of that UCLs been won by Liverpool. The others you've just heard about. So
Yes.
I mean, my daughter actually saw more trophies being won by Man United than any Liverpool supporter, and she's only 10 years old. And so so you guys can say what you want to. You can say about your 6 UCL trophies that you've won. You've only won basically what you've seen. United is a big club. United basically as is the richest club in England at this moment. They've got the biggest fan base across the world. In fact, they second to none then across in the world with their fan base. We have won 13 English Premier League titles, and yes, we are struggling now. We're not going to make it even, or I'm not even going to bring excuses in to say that we're not struggling. But as a club like United, we've shown ourselves that we can fight, we can come back and stuff like that. Liverpool has been struggling for nearly not 30 years. They've been struggling for about 13 years to really get back into the way they're playing. And I mean, big ups to Klopp that brought him from nothing and to win 4 trophies in one season. But that's a one season wonder of any club like Leicester City. And so you guys can say what you want to. You guys are not anymore that big club that you were in the 60s when we weren't even born yet. And we've seen more trophies won by Leicester City and like Manchester. I mean, Newcastle actually even won more trophies than Liverpool. So in the season that we've been living, I'm talking about when we've been living, what we've seen, Newcastle has won more trophies than Liverpool. So you guys can say what you want to. I mean, I've seen 13 trophies being won by my club. I've seen them won the UCL twice. I've seen them won the FA Cup, I think 6 or 7 times. And they've shown to the world that even in the fast pace of soccer now coming up, they can do well. They are a club that can be reckoned with. Even though United has been struggling, Liverpool they are still afraid of United. They will come to United, or even United will come to Anfield, and we can still win Liverpool at Anfield because Anfield is not that bad. I mean, West Ham have won you there. Newcastle has won Liverpool. So yeah, Liverpool is nice.
I see.
So before we come to you, Shaun,
Yeah.
there's another Shaun. We have a lot of Shauns
Seen and
on the
so.
show. Shaun Campbell says, Ole hits the ceiling. He doesn't have experience to take United to the next level.
I noticed
I
something.
do agree. Look, he's doing well. I'll be honest with you.
No,
Ole is doing well. I mean, just
must
listen to him. He's doing well because he's still in the top four. I mean, look, I'm an Arsenal supporter. I wish we were in the top four and we were
We are
doing well
Arsenal.
like
Bring the
United.
log up again there, Nigel. Bring the log up.
Hey,
Let's
they
look at
think-
Arsenal on the log.
Chace, don't go there. Let's not go there. We're not discussing Arsenal here.
No, we need to discuss Arsenal. We must. I mean,
No.
Arsenal did
We're
very well
discussing
this
Arsenal
weekend.
tomorrow night. We're discussing
you
Arsenal
know-
tomorrow night with Arsenal
Do you know
supporters.
that even Nigel was shocked with the result of yesterday? I mean, no one could ever believe that Arsenal will win Leicester. And it, I mean,
Yeah, look, I'll be honest with you. Someone said here, Shaun Campbell again is also getting a discussion tonight. Okay, Shaun, see that you asked this question.
Nigel.
Look, I'll be honest.
Nigel.
I'll be honest. I thought we will be slaughtered when I saw that lineup. Now, if you check that lineup of Arsenal yesterday, William and Pepe is the most inconsistent players this season, especially William. If you come from Arsenal, having that stat he has and won all those cups with Chelsea, but he's the worst player ever seen when he signed for Arsenal, which I don't understand. But in the last two games, he's got 3 assists, and he's starting to show the old William. But the thing is, I'll be honest, I thought it's gonna be a 4 blank. To be honest,
Nigel,
hey,
Nigel, you my witness. I told you last year, the beginning of last year, when Arteta took over, and I saw the first couple of games. Since Wenger, he's bringing identity to the team. And I told you, you must give him time. He gave you FA Cup, he gave you a Charity Shield. Right? And I've always told you, I'm going to say this, sorry, Sebi, but Arteta's better than OGS, not because he won a cup, but because they have shown identity and you can see them growing. You can see them growing. It's the same with Moyes, right? There's identity. That's why West Ham are where they are. They had the players, but they never had the real identity. Tell me, what is United's identity? I don't know. What 1 week they play like, next week it's almost like OGS doesn't know. He doesn't know. And Arteta, genuinely, if you look at it, he's actually building a team, not individuals. He's not building individuals. If this player, you're worried about Pepe, he knows what he's going to get out of Pepe, and that's the best. You know what I'm saying? Watch Arteta in 2-3 seasons.
Look, Shaun, I'm just checking with the stats with each player. They were all inconsistent, and every Arsenal player, every game actually, I get messages of people predicting scores and people already being upset. So yesterday's game, actually, I thought it was going to be a 4-0 to Leicester City. And when that first goal came in the first minute, I was checking, I didn't even, I don't know. I was just thinking about after the game of the messages I'm going to get. And I'll probably, there's a lot of people with the fan base and it was the same with Wenger. Wenger in, Wenger out, Oli in, Oli out.
Nigel, you never said Oli out, please, man. Come now. Don't
Yes,
be like
it's
that.
goddamn Theo.
I don't know. Maybe it was the Liverpool supporters.
Out. So
or even West Ham supporters.
Nigel,
thinking,
mate. Nigel.
Yes.
It sounds like you're doing the hokey pokey. You put your Arteta in, you put your Arteta out, you put your Ole in, and you shake it all about.
But you know what's crazy? Liverpool supporters were saying Klopp out. That was crazy for me. When Liverpool supporters were saying Klopp out, that was
Shaun,
crazy.
I know, Nigel, I know that Sin wants to also say something here quickly. But let me just say this. The thing was with Klopp, and this is what and I've said that even when Klopp started to bloom in 2019, 2020, and I said to them, you must understand, Klopp only built a team to basically win the Premier League, because that's all they wanted him to do, and also to win other cups. But Klopp does not have the ability to take the club further. And you can say what you want to. Klopp don't have that ability, because you guys are now crying over injuries and all those kind of things. So what happens to Mane? What happens to Salah? What happens to Firmino? What happens to Jones? And all these guys.
I just want to come to Mr. Ferrier. We do apologize, viewers, for the sound quality that we have earlier on, but we found the problem. So, so we just want to give Shaun a chance to speak before we come to you, Sebi. Yeah, Shaun, take it away. Because I think we lost Shaun there. I think it's Newcastle. Newcastle always fades, when it comes to the last 3 months of the Shaun, you're back. I think we lost Shaun there. Shaun, I think you need to change teams. Because I'll tell you, someone commented here. He says, Wayne Kaider says, good evening to the Toon fan Sean Ferrier, the only one in Cape Town. So, Shaun, Mr. Ferrier, what do you think about you know Mr. Kaider? Mr. Ferrier. Ja, ons dink ons het hom verloor bietjie daar. Can you hear me, Shaun? And also, we do apologize for the sound of Mr. Ferrier there. So Sabastian, Chelsea.
I'd like to answer.
Yes.
I'd like to answer.
Don't give him a chance.
I'd like to answer Sebi. I'd like to answer Sebi. Sebi, I think a lot of people are going on the history when Klopp. The history when Klopp was at Dortmund. The difference between Dortmund and Liverpool is Dortmund never supported Klopp. Every season they would sell their top players. And you know what? There was one season where they basically sold all his stars. And it's almost like he had to start from over again. This season, yes, I take it. My friend Zain Ryland told me. I told him we're going to win the league. Zain, I'm saying it live. You're watching. I don't see us winning the league, right? But this season was still.
How are you going to win the league, Shaun? You're not even going to make top 4.
Now we'll make top 4. Guaranteed.
No.
I'm saying it today is 8:58 on the 1st of the 2021. Liverpool will make top 4.
Chace said last week that you're not going to make top 4.
I never said that. This man he's slicking a pole there, honestly. I don't know. He's got the ghost of Emery, he's haunting him or something.
Listen, what you must understand is that the thing is this, Liverpool has reached its peak for season 2019-2020. 2021 is a different season for Liverpool. Liverpool has overworked their players. You guys need to understand that. Klopp never ever worked with his youth at his club. What Klopp has done, Klopp has used his players for nearly two seasons, and he overworked them. And now, what is happening now? Now all your players is literally in hospital. They're sitting probably there in among Hangaung or wherever they with a tea party with Jacob Zuma having tea party. But I guarantee you, not even Van Dijk will ever come back this season to come and play, because Van Dijk is not. Yeah, Van Dijk is not in a position to play. And your problem is you guys need Van Dijk at the back. You guys have your Firmino is a horrible player. I mean, I don't know. You guys are probably trying to make nice with Jones, but Jones can't play. Salah is also now reaching his peak at Liverpool. He needs to leave. He must go to Real Madrid. He will do better because
you know.
But Sebi, this game was
yes.
Sebi, This game of Chelsea and Man United, I don't think there's much to talk about because I'll be honest with you.
It was a horrible game.
It was one of the most boringest games ever watched.
I would have,
yesterday.
if I
No
watched,
one was.
No, but Nigel, let me tell you something. I could have watched a show between Jacob Zuma and Desmond Tutu, and there will be more action there than the game that was yesterday. The problem with both Chelsea and Man United, they played like sissies. They were afraid to attack, and they were afraid to basically go out and score goals. For both clubs, they were afraid to actually take a chance. And that's why the problem with United is this, and that I got tired of Rashford. He's a one-man player. He needs to go play for Kaizer Chiefs. I don't want him at United. The problem with these guys is that oh, my bro, why are you bringing this picture up, Nigel? One problem with Rashford is with Ole is that Ole is trying his best with our forwards, but he needs to bring in this young ladies. I mean, this new lady that just came in.
Trying your best is not going to win the league.
Right?
Trying your best is not going to overtake City because at the moment, Manchester.
No, City. Listen here, we know that City is already winning the league, but City must first win 13 leagues before they can change it to
how
blue.
can you allow? But Sebi, how can you allow Manchester City to overtake you guys? I mean, doesn't it hurt that City is overtaking?
Well, Nigel,
can we put the mic of C? Can we put the mic of C on Ferry on? Yeah, can we put the mic of Ferry on, because I think Nigel is now becoming a little bit disruptive here. He's becoming like the Speaker of Parliament, like EFF and stuff like that. Let Ferry talk. Nigel, you are hurting me now.
Ferry, you can speak. Ferry, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Nigel.
Okay. You have something to say about what you were talking about. I'm not sure if it's Newcastle, West Ham, or Liverpool, Arsenal.
I'm gonna say it with utmost respect. I'm gonna say no comment because my team, we don't know what's going on the top half of the table. But it's always enlightening and it's encouraging to listen to you guys speak about your clubs and the passion that you have. But there must also be a voice of reason here. And you look at the Liverpool side that blew everybody away last season with a fantastic brand of football. So I don't think by no means this is the end of Liverpool. Yes, and you're not supposed to just hang and depend on one player, but we can't ignore the fact of what Virgil van Dijk brings to a team. It's not only the defending side of his game, but what he can do also on attack in terms of the transition from defense into attack, and you can see the value that he adds there. And to lose a player like that, you don't just replace that overnight. So as much as they have probably the best top 3 in the world, in world football at this point in time, component, and I think it's only a matter of time because like you were also.
Okay, they lost the signal like they lost every weekend.
Sean Campbell says his connection is like his team, holding on for dear life to stay up.
Is he referring to Arsenal?
What Campbell says.
Chace wanted to say something.
Is he? Sean?
Yes.
Chace wanted to say something.
Yes. You were speaking now about reaching a club reaching their peak, so to speak. And I don't think Liverpool have reached it. I think Liverpool have reached their peak. If you look back at Spurs under Pochettino, they were phenomenal. Everyone was tipping Spurs to do big things, and they reached that Champions League final and I think a semi-final too. But then they just started fading away, and now they're still a threat. But in the same vein, I think Liverpool, with the injuries too, it's a club, a unit, can only go so far together. And then they have to start selling players and bringing fresh blood in. And the same thing happened at Man United many, many times. They got rid of Ronaldo, they got rid of Cantona, they got rid of Beckham, yet they brought new players in. and they kept on building. And that's why they were such a big, strong threat, because there was always someone behind them, always a new player in the dressing room who could take their space. So I think these teams, they do need a shake-up just to keep the blood competitive. Otherwise, one group does stagnate. It does get stale. So I think it's about the manager finding a balance with the players, bringing in new, keeping, and letting. I think it's about letting. You must know when to let go. That's it. Know when to let go of a player.
Yeah, Nigel. Nigel, can you?
Yes.
Before you're going to go to the Sheffield Liverpool game, and I mean, this is one thing that that we are very, very what's the word? We're pissed off with it. Where Klopp said that Man United is getting a lot of penalties and all those kind of things, and and now the referees are blowing against us, and even VAR is now also going against the way when it's a penalty. Like yesterday, you could see. Yeah, of course, we blame the ref.
Shaun is blaming VAR.
I blame VAR. Yeah.
But even you could see that was clearly a handball yesterday in the box, and yet they did not give it. And and that's because of Klopp's comment that he made a few weeks ago. No. Yes, of course, it was because of Klopp's, and they are now punishing United for that statement that Klopp has made.
Sebi, I'm gonna say this, not being biased, right? You know what the problem with VAR is, right? VAR is there to assist during the game, right? So the referee saw the referee didn't give the they didn't give the penalty because the referee saw two players coming together. When you're playing and you both are fighting, and if you look at pictures and they show videos, it looks like Greenwood hitting his arm up and him touching the ball. But because of the new laws, it's a penalty. It's a penalty. Because of the laws, it's a penalty. But now what VAR does is and what makes players frustrated, I know as a player, during the game, knowing that everybody knows it's a penalty, it changes your game, your mood of the game as well. So what did I want to say on VAR? Say for argument's sake, VAR wasn't there. We wouldn't have, this topic wouldn't have been brought up. It wouldn't have been a major topic. But because the referee gets assistance from VAR, and then they still don't make the right decision, that is just not on, man. I hate my mother. Always tells me I must stop saying hate, but I hate VAR. I hate VAR.
I agree with you.
I love VAR because also got a VAR decision get a penalty for a handball. So
look at
VAR is sometimes good and most of the time bad. I mean, but that's another discussion about VAR, because Shaun, if you're gonna talk about VAR, then we're gonna sit here at 12 o'clock.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is this, Nigel, VAR actually helped Liverpool win the game yesterday.
Oh,
God help me.
Never.
Sheffield United was the better team on the field the first 40 minutes. When every time Sheffield were the best team or the better team for the first 40 minutes. But after both the decisions, I mean, the first goal and the second one was denied because of VAR. They went downhill, and then Liverpool just took that advantage, and they went and they played. So I mean, and you can argue with me, Shaun, but Sheffield was the better team yesterday.
Look, I've got something that
it could have gone either way.
Guys, I got something that I got something that yesterday. He said, I'm sure, look, I can agree to a certain extent here, but I think he's playing mind games. He says the best team in Europe is Bayern Munich because they won everything. They are the best. I agree with that because no one talks about Bayern Munich's coach. And if you check Bayern Munich's team, it's got a lot of youngsters there that's unknown. I don't even know who that place is. But no one's giving him credit. But speaking ahead of the City Premier League game at home against Wolves on Tuesday, in England, the champions are Liverpool, and they are the best. I don't agree with that, though. But yeah, the crown, if you want to take it, you have to win it, which I agree. Yeah, but right now, Liverpool is the champions, like in Europe, is Bayern Munich. So I agree with him about Bayern, but I don't agree with him that, look, you are champions, but they're not the best.
No, man. What he's trying to say is we are the current champions, and
But you're not the best.
and for City to be champions, they have to win it in. It's same like United.
But why say that they are the best? They're not the best. You guys, Liverpool is not playing like champions.
But with the current, no matter what even if we're in relegation zone, we are still the champions. I surprised we're not in the
We don't
relegation zone.
dispute that.
Yeah,
We don't
I'm
dispute the fact
surprised
that
we're
you're
not in the
champions.
relegation zone, to be honest with you, because all our players played out of position. To be honest with you, that's the honest truth. We all our players play out of position. You know what I'm saying? So I'm surprised that we're still sixth. We're still sixth. I can't believe that we're sixth.
But how many
And
points?
it shows how good
away
Klopp
from
is.
City?
And
How
everybody's
many
saying
points
that
away
Klopp
from
is
City?
not that great.
Chace, I truly believe that that West Ham, we're gonna end off in the next 10 minutes. I truly believe West Ham can make top 4 because besides the City's winning everyone. No, that's what I believe, Chace. I mean, I'm giving positive.
No, but West Ham is going to. West Ham is going to. United not making top 4 this season. Watch your
Look,
space.
as much as I love seeing West
How
Ham in
long
the
is
top
it? 10
4,
minutes?
okay, as long as I love seeing West Ham in the top 4,
Can you send
I
me-
don't see us
yeah.
finishing in the top 4. It would be amazing, but realistically, it's I don't think West Ham are ready. I think our squad is too small, which will lead to, hypothetically speaking, they do make the top 4. It will cause the owners to rushing into the transfer market and then buying players just for the sake of buying it. So as much as I love seeing West Ham at 4th, I'd gladly take a 6th or a 5th and just to build gradually opposed to just rushing into it and then caught with our trousers down. So it's nice to see, but I'm just enjoying this wave while I can, and it will dry up, but right now it's a heck of a ride and I'm enjoying it.
Now, Shaun, there's a thing going out on social media.
Yeah,
Klopp out.
that's it. I don't know why. And then they want Gerrard to come in now. It's too soon.
Do you know
It's
why?
too
Do you know
soon for
why they
Gerrard.
said that? Klopp
Why?
is
Did
now almost
Nigel make
7
it
years.
on Microsoft Paint?
I got this from somewhere. If I look, Chace, if
That's
I
the
would
worst
have,
meme I've ever seen in my life.
Chace,
Yes, Nigel.
Chace, if I would have put something on his face, it would have been something else.
A mask. We
I
must
only,
all wear masks. He would have put a mask on his face.
yeah, no,
I think
he
Klopp is the
doesn't
best thing that
he
happened to
doesn't look
Liverpool.
quite happy. This is probably the worst photo to take Klopp. I mean, we've ever done this one. It's probably the worst photo because he looks very upset here. He looks very like.
Thing is,
I
man,
don't understand.
Nigel, when will Klopp
Shaun.
actually looking normal?
No, never. This boy's
He
got.
always smile.
Yeah, Klopp always
He
looks like that.
normally smiles. He normally smiles. Look, Shaun, I read that the reason why that people think he's not gonna win a title for Liverpool ever again is that he's now almost 7 years at Liverpool, if I'm correct.
Yes.
That's almost
Not
a decade.
even-
Yes, 7 years.
And he
No,
only
no,
and he
5.
only won.
No, man.
No, that's
Guys,
I think
not 7 years.
How many
No,
years?
man.
5 at least. 4 or 5.
It's for like his
But
5th year or
some
something.
Liverpool guys say, some Liverpool people says that he only won one domestic title since he joined Liverpool. And
That's
we
correct.
all know that Liverpool is not good at winning domestic trophies. They're quite good in Europe, but
Yes.
they're quite bad at winning domestic trophies. And that's a concern with the Liverpool supporters. And currently, if I'm correct, that you guys are the worst champions. You're already out the title race and it's March.
Yes.
So
Yes, we
that's
are.
why people says Klopp out.
No,
don't
man.
think
I don't think people know that this is a totally different season. Totally
but
different season. This is not a normal season. Besides our injuries, there's a pandemic.
if
There's
it's not a normal season, then I would say Arsenal.
I can't.
But,
So I would
but
say it's not
Nigel,
a
let me
normal
say
season.
this, and I agree. Yeah, but let me say this, and I agree with what West what the
Chace.
West Ham United Chace is saying. The thing with even West Ham is also a small club that they can't run the race
You
up
say
until the
that
end,
West
and
Ham
that's
has
why
a
it's going to be
small club.
difficult for them because they
Chace,
don't have.
Yes,
Right?
he did.
Chace,
West is a
Sebi
small
just
club.
said
There's
West
small
Ham
club.
is a small
Yes,
club.
Yes, he did.
but Chase also said it.
Chace did
They're a
say.
small club.
Chace said
But
his team is not big
I
enough.
never said
They
small
said that
club. I said we aren't ready for the Champions League. West Ham are massive, mate. We are proper massive. But they aren't ready
But
for
anyway,
Europe right now.
but let me say this. But similar to Liverpool. The problem with Liverpool was Klopp played with the same players for nearly 5 years. 5 years he has been playing with the same players, and he's been developing the players to win a trophy, the EPL, and that was his final thing. And so that's why. So now Klopp can't, because Klopp don't have the ability to develop again another 5 years. So that's why Klopp needs to get out of it. The same with Ole and stuff like that.
We couldn't.
So why?
Of the change.
But
Yeah, sorry. Because of the change.
Okay, so-
Sorry, Stevie. Because of the change, we couldn't buy players because we weren't sure financially if we could buy players in January, especially because of this pandemic. So this season made it very difficult. Because we got a business model. We can't just spend money. We need to make money to spend money. And that is why we are, you know what I'm saying? So we're not United that get investors to come in and buy players for them. We don't work out, but we have to sell players to buy players. And that is why I think now we were in administration with Brendan Rodgers. Thank him. I thank Brendan Rodgers. We're in administration, and thank Brendan Rodgers because he did marvelous at our club. And today we are the 5th richest club in the world. And because we stuck to our business model. And Klopp has been given reign only. That's why we build players. And if you don't suit our team, we let you go. So it's a lot of things that you guys can disagree with me, but I'll have to say next.
But so similar to what West Ham United. Can I just say this? Same with West Ham United. The thing is this: you guys don't build, because you need to build two teams for any club. Liverpool don't have a second team. I mean, you can see the way they're playing now. One player injured when Van Dijk was out. I mean, they went from the first start of the season to one of the worst clubs playing now. I mean, it's a nightmare to see how Liverpool will lose every week. And now it's not a matter of how many goals will they score. It's a matter of fact, will they score goals? I mean, West Ham United will come to Anfield and they will beat them and stuff like that. But now that's why I said, similar to West Ham, West Ham also did not build a club for a longevity. And that's what United is all about. United is about youth, they're developing the youth and they're bringing the youth into play. Look at all our players, our forward.
Sebi, you sound
Look at we've got most of our youngsters now playing. What does Liverpool have? Liverpool still have the old players that started with Klopp 5 years ago. They still got them now.
Okay, so guys, we're gonna end of now, Sebi and Shaun. We're gonna end of predictions.
Yes.
Chace, let's start with you. Do you think the same question I asked you last week? Do you think West Ham can make top 4?
I don't want us to. I don't think we'll make top 4. I think last week I said between 6th and 8th. I'm going to say between 5th and 7th. 5th and 7th, Hammers will end.
Okay. So don't you want to swap your position with us, with Arsenal? See?
No, thank you.
Hey?
Okay. Nigel, why are you freezing now? It's like
it's getting cold.
Arsenal is freezing. That's a VAR moment. That's a VAR
I think
moment.
we just had a bad connection there, guys. Do apologize.
That was a VAR moment.
Yeah, no, look, it's probably because that's the way Arsenal is. That's the way Arsenal is. They always come in last second of the season and they start freezing.
They've been freezing for bloody since. Oh no, what happened?
Okay, so Sebi, your prediction. Obviously, you guys are in more better position. Do you think you can make top 4?
I think United will finish top 4, and but yeah, I think they will finish top 4, but I don't think they will finish at second on the log.
Shaun.
I agree with Cheslin. West Ham is the team of the year, no matter what happens. That is
Nice one,
he's the-
Cheslin. I like that.
He says
I
Chace
agree.
will wash hands.
Liverpool.
I think Chace paid Cheslin to say that.
That's why I went off.
Actually, Cheslin is my fake account. I have 2 accounts, and Cheslin's the other one. So.
Shaun, quickly, your prediction.
Quickly,
Before we go.
yes, Liverpool's going to make top 4. We're going to make top 4. That is a given. We're going to make top 4, and yeah, I can't tell you where top 4, but I know we're going to make top 4.
Okay.
Be it fourth.
Okay, cool.
I would say
The
fourth
top
for
4
now.
in the Premier League or top 4 richest clubs?
Top 4, and that as well.
Okay,
End of
my
the season.
prediction with Arsenal, I think we're gonna end up 6th place. I think Arsenal will end up 6th. That's what I think. If we can go on consistent run.
So you buy a whoop, ne?
If all the clubs
Yeah,
get
no.
liquidated, Arsenal will finish 6th. If everyone gets docked points.
It's just like United hoping they're gonna win a trophy again.
Hey, shame.
I like
Hey.
you, man. I like
Okay,
you.
so-
Sebi, are you going to win a trophy? Let's ask Sebi this. Sebi, are you going to win any trophy this season?
No.
Thank you.
No.
You're
That's all.
true
I
United.
Just end it there.
You know,
Let's just end it
you know
there.
what?
No.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for being on the show. I know it was a long discussion. Viewers, I do apologize about the sound in the beginning of the show, but I'm sure the next show will be much better. Thank you for Shaun, Mr. Ferrier, being on the show as well. He had to leave because of his sound quality as well. Chace, thank you very much for being on the show again. Shaun, the Liverpool guy, Sebi, the Man United guy. I hope you guys' teams make top 4. I know Arsenal are not going to make top 4, but I'm sure next, like they always say, like all the supporters always say, it's our year next year.
Nigel, just a loss. I want to dedicate to Leanne. She had a hip operation. She's a United. I think she's a United supporter. And to Vemba, you'll never walk alone. His father just came out of surgery today, and he's doing well. Just wanted to dedicate it to them.
Can I also say
Just the last thing.
Nigel, can I just say something before you're going to say the last thing? I'm sure my wife is actually a Liverpool supporter. So I've been sleeping with a Liverpool supporter.
My wife is a United supporter.
Oh my word! And I think Chace's girlfriend is an Arsenal supporter. Chace.
No one's an Arsenal supporter, mate. You're alone.
Yeah. Like
Okay,
I said,
thank you very much, guys.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Great meeting
Thank
you
you
all.
very much, guys. Have a lovely evening, guys. Have a lovely
Nice
evening,
meeting you,
guys.
Stevie. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Bye.